The communication array on the space station hummed with excitement. After 3 months of traveling through space, the human ship New Seoul had finally reached the meeting point. Commander Hyun-woo Kim stood on the bridge watching the stars through the window. Today would change everything for humanity. "Sir, we're getting responses from the alien ships," said Lieutenant So-Jin Lee from her station. Her fingers moved quickly over the controls. "3 different species are answering our call." Hyun-woo nodded. The first contact protocols had worked. Earth had sent out signals for 2 years, hoping someone would answer. Now finally they had. The main screen lit up with images that made the crew gasp. The first alien looked like living glass. Its body was made of clear crystal that caught the light and threw rainbows across the walls. When it spoke, its voice sounded like wind chimes. "I am Speaker Veltar of the Vorthak Empire," the crystal being said. "We welcome you to the galaxy, small ones." The second alien appeared as a cloud of blue gas floating in a special container. When it talked, the gas swirled and changed colors. "We are the Nelthani Collective. Your species shows promise, though you are very young." The third alien looked more familiar. It had 2 arms and 2 legs like humans, but its skin was green and covered in scales. "I am Commander Thexol of the Karathi Federation. We have been watching your world for some time." Dr. Taehyun Park, the lead scientist, stepped forward. "We are honored to meet you. Humanity has dreamed of this day for centuries. We bring gifts of our culture, our art, our music." The crystal alien made a sound like breaking glass, which the translator said was laughter. "How charming. Primitive art forms. We have seen many young species try to impress us with their simple creations." So Jin felt her face grow hot with anger, but she stayed quiet. The aliens were being rude, but this was too important to mess up. The gas alien swirled faster. "Your biological readings are interesting. Carbon-based life, very fragile. Short lifespan of less than 100 of your years. No natural weapons or armor. You are what we call a soft species." Commander Hyun-woo tried to keep his voice calm. "We may not have claws or thick skin, but humans have other strengths. We are good at solving problems and working together." Of course, said the scaled alien. "All soft species say this. Do not worry. The galaxy has a place for beings like you. We will help you find your proper role." The meeting continued for hours. The aliens showed holographic displays of the galaxy, pointing out the major powers and trade routes. They explained how civilization worked among the stars. Everything was organized, controlled, and peaceful. "The Galactic Council keeps order," explained Speaker Veltar. "Each species has its place based on their natural abilities. The strong protect the weak. The advanced guide the primitive." Dr. Park showed them human achievements. Pictures of Earth's great cities, recordings of music and poetry, examples of human technology. The aliens looked at everything with what seemed like boredom. "Very nice for your level," said the gas alien. "Of course, you will need to replace all of this with proper galactic technology. Your current tools are far too dangerous and inefficient." "Dangerous?" asked Lieutenant So-Jin. "Chemical rockets, nuclear power, kinetic weapons," listed the scaled alien. "Barbaric energy sources that could hurt innocent beings. We will provide you with safe, clean technology that fits your capabilities." The crystal alien's body flashed with different colors. "Based on our initial assessment, humanity qualifies for Category 7 status. This gives you access to 3 star systems and basic trade rights. You will be under the protection of the Zelthani Federation." "Protection?" Hyun-woo asked. "Yes, a simple arrangement. The Federation will keep you safe from hostile forces. In return, you provide raw materials and basic labor. Standard rate is 60% of your production." The humans looked at each other. 60% seemed like a lot, but they were new to this. Maybe this was normal. Dr. Park cleared his throat. "We would like to learn more about galactic science and technology. Human researchers are very eager to study and understand new things." The aliens made more of those breaking glass sounds. "Adorable. But biological limitations make advanced study impossible for soft species. Your brains simply cannot handle the complexity. We will provide you with simplified versions suitable for your mental capacity." So-Jin bit her tongue to keep from saying something rude. Back on Earth, she had 3 degrees in physics and had helped design the ship they were riding in. But arguing would not help anyone. The meeting moved to the space station's conference room. The human delegation sat on one side of a long table, while holographic projections of the aliens appeared on the other side. "Let us discuss the practical matters," said Commander Thexol. "Your species will need guidance to avoid the many dangers of galactic society. Some civilizations are not as kind as we are. The aliens explained the rules. Humans could only travel to approved systems. They needed permission to build new colonies. All technology had to be approved by the Federation. Any disputes would be settled by galactic law, not human law. "What if we disagree with a decision?" asked Commander Hyunwoo. "Soft species rarely understand the complexity of galactic affairs," the crystal alien replied. "It is better to trust those with more experience. We have been spacefaring for thousands of your years." The gas alien swirled thoughtfully. "Your species shows potential for certain types of work. Mining, farming, basic manufacturing. With proper guidance, you could become useful members of galactic society." Dr. Park felt sick to his stomach. They were talking about humans like they were children or pets. But what choice did they have? Earth was alone, and these beings had technology beyond human understanding. The negotiations continued for 3 days. The aliens were polite but firm. They would not budge on any major points. Humanity could take their offer or be left alone in a galaxy full of unknown dangers. Finally, Commander Hyunwoo signed the agreement. The aliens seemed pleased with themselves, like adults who had just taught a child an important lesson. "Welcome to galactic civilization," said Speaker Veltar. "We are sure you will find your place among us." As the human ship prepared to return to Earth, Sojin stared out at the alien vessels. They were beautiful and obviously advanced, but something felt wrong. The aliens had not asked a single question about human history, culture, or abilities. They had just assumed they knew everything about humanity from a few scans and tests. "What do you think?" asked Dr. Park quietly. "I think," Sojin said slowly, "they have no idea what humans are really like." The new soul turned toward home carrying news that would change Earth forever. But the aliens had already forgotten about the small ship and its soft, weak crew. They had more important matters to attend to. 6 months had passed since the signing. The aliens had kept their word, sort of. Human ships now traveled to 3 star systems, all of them empty except for rocks and gas. The advanced technology they received turned out to be simple mining equipment and basic life support systems. Engineer Ji-hoon Choi sat in his workshop on the human colony of New Busan, staring at a piece of alien machinery. The device was supposed to be a power generator, but it was the most inefficient thing he had ever seen. It used 10 times more fuel than it should and produced half the energy of a human fusion reactor. "This is garbage," he muttered to himself. "My grandfather could build something better in his garage." His assistant, young Kyungmin Han, looked up from another device. "The alien supervisor says we're not smart enough to understand real technology. He says this is the best our brains can handle." Ji-hoon laughed bitterly. Kextai wouldn't know good engineering if it bit him on his scaly behind. The alien supervisor in question was a reptilian Karathi who had been assigned to guide human technological development. Kextai treated all humans like they were barely intelligent animals. Every time Ji-hoon tried to suggest improvements, the alien would pat him on the head and explain why soft-brained species couldn't understand complex concepts. Meanwhile, on the research station orbiting Earth, Dr. Hyun-ha Song was making discoveries that disturbed her. She had been studying alien biology samples, trying to understand the beings humanity now served under. "Computer, show me the Vorthak crystal structure analysis," she said. The holographic display showed the internal makeup of the crystal aliens. What she saw made her gasp. The Vorthak were incredibly fragile. Their bodies were made of a silicon compound that would shatter like glass if hit with even a small hammer. A human child could break a Vorthak adult just by throwing a rock. "Show me Nelthani atmospheric requirements," she continued. More shocking information appeared. The gas aliens could only survive in very specific conditions. The wrong temperature, pressure, or gas mixture would kill them instantly. Earth's normal atmosphere would be deadly poison to them. And the Karathi physical structure? Even the reptilian aliens, who seemed the toughest, had serious weaknesses. Their scales looked impressive, but were softer than human skin. Their bones were hollow like bird bones, making them much weaker than they appeared. Dr. Song sat back in her chair, confused. These were the superior beings who looked down on humanity? They were more fragile than newborn babies. On the diplomatic station near Jupiter, Captain Dongmin Yu was dealing with a different problem. Alien ships had been entering human space without permission. claiming they were conducting surveys or checking for safety violations. "Sir, we have another unscheduled visit," reported Communications Officer Min Jung Kim. "It's a Nelthani science vessel. They say they're testing our atmospheric conditions for contamination." Dongmin rubbed his forehead. This was the 5th surprise inspection this month. The aliens were clearly testing human responses, seeing how much they could push before humans pushed back. "Send them the standard message. Ask for their permits and flight plans." They say they don't need permits. Galactic law gives them the right to ensure compliance with safety standards. It was always the same. The aliens would do whatever they wanted, then quote some galactic law that humans had never seen or agreed to. When humans complained to the Galactic Council, they were told to trust in the wisdom of elder species. Back on New Busan, Ji-hoon had made a breakthrough. Working in secret, he had completely redesigned the alien power generator. His version was smaller, more efficient, and produced 3 times the energy output. "Kyungmin, look at this," he called excitedly. The younger engineer examined the device with wide eyes. "How did you do this?" "Simple physics," Ji-hoon replied. "These aliens might be old, but they're not very smart. Their technology is like something from our history books. We had better designs 50 years ago." When Kextai arrived for his weekly inspection, Ji-hoon showed him the improved generator. The alien's scaled face wrinkled in confusion. "This is impossible," Kextai said. "Soft-brain species cannot improve upon galactic technology." "But it works," Ji-hoon insisted. "Look at the energy readings." The alien stared at the numbers for a long time. Finally, he shook his head. "You must have made an error. Perhaps you damaged the original device. I will have it replaced with a proper unit." Ji-hoon watched in anger as the alien had his improved generator thrown away. Clearly, the aliens were not interested in learning anything from humans. Dr. Song was having similar problems. When she tried to share her biological research with alien scientists, they dismissed her findings as impossible or measurement errors. The idea that they might be weaker than humans was something they could not accept. Dr. Song called her assistant, researcher Bo Young Park. "I found something interesting in the historical records." "What is it?" "I've been studying galactic history, looking at how these species developed. The Vorthak evolved on a world with very low gravity and no predators. They never had to fight for survival. The Nelthani developed intelligence while floating in gas clouds, never facing any physical challenges. Even the Karathi came from a world where they were the only intelligent species." Dr. Song understood immediately. They never had to compete, they never had to struggle. Exactly. They developed technology to make their lives easier, not to fight or survive. Look at Earth's history compared to theirs. The comparison was startling. While alien species had spent millions of years in peaceful development, Earth had been a battlefield. Humans had fought ice ages, natural disasters, predators, diseases, and each other. Every generation had been tested by challenges that would have destroyed the alien civilizations. Meanwhile, Captain Yu was reporting another incident to Earth Command. A Karathi patrol had accidentally fired on a human mining station, claiming they thought it was an asteroid. No one was hurt, but the message was clear. "They're getting bolder," he told Admiral Insu Chang over the communication link. "These aren't accidents, they're testing our responses." "What do you recommend, Captain?" "We need to start pushing back, not with violence, but with strength. Show them we're not as soft as they think." The Admiral was quiet for a moment. "The government is still hoping for peaceful coexistence. They don't want to anger our new galactic neighbors. Sir, with respect, these aren't neighbors, they're bullies, and bullies only understand one thing." Back on New Busan, Ji-hoon had started a secret project. Using salvaged parts and human ingenuity, he was building weapons. Not alien weapons, but human designs adapted for space combat. He told himself it was just in case, just for protection. Dr. Song was working on her own secret project, mapping alien weaknesses and developing countermeasures. If humanity ever needed to defend itself, her research would be invaluable. Neither of them talked about their work with the alien supervisors. Both of them had the growing feeling that the galaxy's peaceful civilizations were not as friendly as they pretended to be. The aliens continued to treat humans like children, never imagining that the soft species might be capable of more than they showed. They saw weakness where they should have seen restraint. They saw primitive technology where they should have seen potential. Most importantly, they never asked about human history, human nature, or what had made humanity strong enough to reach the stars in the first place. If they had, they might have learned some uncomfortable truths about the species they were so carelessly underestimating. Instead, they continued their tests and surveys, their small invasions and casual insults, never realizing they were slowly awakening something that had been sleeping. Something that had once hunted mammoths across frozen plains and built empires from the ashes of fallen enemies. The aliens thought they knew what humans were. They were about to discover how wrong they could be. The first attack came without warning. Mining Station Alpha 7 was processing asteroids in the outer edge of human space when the Karathi ships appeared. 3 sleek vessels dropped out of hyperspace and immediately opened fire. Station Commander Wu Jinli watched in horror as energy beams tore through the mining equipment. "All hands, this is not a drill. We are under attack." The station's shields built with alien technology failed after the first few hits. Emergency alarms screamed as atmosphere began leaking from damaged sections. "Sir, incoming transmission from the attacking ships," reported Communications Officer Hee-Jin Choi. The main screen flickered to life, showing the scaled face of a Karathi commander. "Human vessel, you are interfering with our training exercise. Move your station immediately or face the consequences." Wu Jin stared at the alien in disbelief. "This is our territory." "You're attacking a civilian mining station." The Karathi commander's eyes were cold and amused. "The galaxy belongs to those strong enough to claim it. Weak species exist only by the grace of their betters." The transmission ended and the attacks resumed. Station Alpha 7 had no weapons, no defenses except the thin shields that had already failed. All they could do was evacuate. "Launch all escape pods," Wu Jin ordered. "Send a distress signal to Earth Command." 27 humans escaped in the pods before the station exploded. The Karathi ships watched the destruction with satisfaction, then disappeared back into hyperspace. News of the attack spread quickly through human space. Earth's government immediately filed a formal complaint with the Galactic Council. The response came back 3 days later. "Military exercises are necessary for galactic security. Civilian vessels should avoid military zones." There had been no warning that the area was a military zone. The designation had been created after the attack. Admiral Insu Chang called an emergency meeting of the Human Defense Forces. The conference room on Luna Base was packed with officers who had been expecting this day for months. "Gentlemen, ladies, the situation is clear," the Admiral began. "The aliens are testing us. They want to see how much we'll tolerate before we fight back." Colonel Minho Jiang, head of space operations, leaned forward. "Sir, our current defense treaty prohibits us from building military vessels. We have patrol boats and nothing else." "The treaty was signed under false pretenses," replied Admiral Chang. "They promised us protection, then told us to protect ourselves. I'm authorizing Emergency Protocol 7. Every officer in the room knew what that meant. Hidden shipyards would begin production immediately. Human weapons, human designs, human strategy. "What about the Galactic Council?" asked Captain Subino. "The Council has made their position clear. We're on our own." Meanwhile, on the research station orbiting Earth, Dr. Yujin Bei was studying the psychological profiles of alien species. What she found was disturbing and useful in equal measure. Computer. Display evolutionary history comparison. Humans versus galactic species. The holographic chart showed 2 very different paths of development. The alien species had all evolved from prey animals or peaceful herbivores. They had developed technology as a way to avoid conflict, not to engage in it. Humans were different. Earth's history was written in blood and struggle. Humans had evolved as persistence hunters, wearing down prey over hours or days of continuous chase. They had survived ice ages, volcanic winters, and countless natural disasters. Most importantly, they had competed with each other for 60,000 years. "The aliens have no concept of total war," Dr. Bei dictated to her research notes. "Their conflicts are formal, ritualized, limited. They fight like it's a game with rules. Humans fight like their lives depend on it because for most of our history they did." The second attack came a week later. This time, it was a Nelthani gas ship that appeared near New Busan Colony. The alien vessel demanded inspection rights and began scanning human facilities without permission. Colonial Governor Ji-Sung Park tried to handle the situation diplomatically. Nelthani vessel, you do not have authorization to scan our facilities. Please submit a formal request through proper channels. The gas alien's response was contemptuous. Soft flesh creatures do not give orders to their betters. We will scan what we choose. That was when Colonel Min-ho Jang arrived with the first human patrol ships built under Emergency Protocol 7. The vessels looked primitive compared to alien technology, but they carried something the aliens had never seen: kinetic weapons. Nelthani vessel, this is Colonel Jang of the Human Defense Force. You have 30 seconds to leave our territory. The gas alien laughed, a sound like wind through broken pipes. Your toy ships cannot harm us. Our shields are impenetrable. 20 seconds, we are protected by galactic law. Any attack on us will result in severe punishment. 10 seconds. The Nelthani ship didn't move. The alien commander was too arrogant to believe humans would actually fight back. Time's up. The human ships opened fire with railguns, launching metal slugs at incredible speeds. The alien shields were designed to deflect energy weapons, not physical projectiles. The first salvo punched straight through the Nelthani vessel's hull. The gas alien's scream of shock and pain echoed across the communication channels. Impossible. You used kinetic weapons. That's barbaric. It's effective, Colonel Jang replied coldly. Leave now, or the next salvo goes through your command center. The Nelthani ship fled, trailing atmosphere from its damaged hull. Within hours, formal protests were flooding Earth's communication networks. Humans had violated galactic law by using primitive and cruel weapons against a peaceful survey vessel. Earth's response was simple. Human territory will be defended by human methods. The third attack was the largest yet. A full Karathi battle group entered human space, led by War Commander Sekroth, a veteran of dozens of campaigns against soft species. He expected the usual pattern: show of force, formal surrender, payment of reparations. Instead, he found himself facing Colonel Min-ho Jang and a fleet of human warships that looked like nothing in the galactic database. Human vessels, you are in violation of the Military Territories Act, Sekroth announced. Surrender immediately and prepare for pacification. Colonel Jang's response surprised him. Karathi ships, you are trespassing in human space. You have one chance to withdraw. You cannot threaten us. We are superior in every way. The human fleet spread out in a formation the Karathi commander didn't recognize. It looked chaotic, undisciplined. But when the battle began, Sekroth learned the difference between chaos and unpredictability. Human ships didn't fight like galactic vessels. They used ramming attacks, suicide runs, and weapons combinations that violated every rule of civilized warfare. When Karathi ships tried to surrender, humans ignored them and kept firing. When aliens attempted to retreat, human vessels pursued them relentlessly. Most shocking of all, humans seemed to expect casualties. When the cruiser Soul Pride was destroyed, the other human ships didn't retreat or mourn. They used the explosion as cover for another attack. Sekroth had fought many battles, but never against an enemy that treated death as an acceptable price for victory. By the time his fleet escaped, he had lost half his ships and most of his confidence. What are these creatures? He asked his surviving officers. Security Chief Krangtar, nursing wounds from crystal shrapnel, shook his head. They fight like they enjoy it. The battle reports reached the Galactic Council within hours. For the first time in centuries, a Category 7 species had not only resisted pacification, but had actually won. Emergency sessions were called. Diplomatic notes were exchanged. Threats were made and ignored. But in the quiet meeting rooms where real decisions were made, alien leaders were beginning to ask uncomfortable questions. Who were these humans? Where had they come from? And why had no one bothered to study them properly before making contact? Dr. Yu-Jin Bei could have answered those questions, but no alien had ever asked her. They were about to learn the hard way that some questions should be asked before it's too late to change the answers. The humans were no longer hiding their true nature. The galaxy was about to discover what happens when you poke a sleeping predator one too many times. The emergency session of the Galactic Council was unlike anything in their history. For the first time, a Category 7 species had not only refused pacification, but had actually defeated superior forces in battle. Speaker Veltar of the Vorthak Empire stood at the center of the crystal chamber, his body flickering with agitated colors. The human infestation must be contained immediately. They have violated every principle of galactic civilization. Collective mind Nithara of the Nelthani swirled in her gas container, purple clouds of anger darkening her form. They used kinetic weapons, physical projectiles. Such barbarism has not been seen for millennia. War Commander Sekroth, still nursing his wounds from the recent battle, hissed his agreement. These creatures fight without honor, without mercy. They ignore surrender. They accept death. They use their own ships as weapons. But High Counselor Zethkol, eldest of the Vorthak, pulsed with a different pattern of light. Perhaps we should ask ourselves why we know so little about this species. They appeared 18 months ago. We assigned them a category and we ignored them. Did any of us study their history? The chamber fell silent. In truth, no one had bothered. Category 7 species were always the same. Weak, peaceful, grateful for protection. There had never been a need to study them in detail. Their biology is clear, Speaker Veltar insisted. Soft flesh, short lifespans, no natural weapons. They are prey creatures that just destroyed a Karathi battle group, Zethkol observed quietly. Meanwhile, on Earth, Admiral Insu Chang was addressing the emergency joint session of humanity's leadership. Representatives from every nation, every colony, every major corporation filled the vast chamber in Geneva. The situation is clear, Admiral Chang announced. The galactic community has shown its true colors. We are not partners. We are not even recognized as equals. We are cattle to be managed. President Hai Young Kim of the Earth Federation leaned forward. What are you recommending, Admiral? Full withdrawal from all galactic treaties, immediate militarization of all human space, and formal declaration of human sovereignty over our territory. The chamber erupted in argument. Some delegates insisted on diplomatic solutions. Others demanded immediate action. But the debate ended when the latest intelligence reports arrived. Colonel Minho Jiang presented the evidence to the hushed assembly. Karathi ships are massing at the border of our territory. Nelthani vessels are blockading our trade routes. And Vorthak diplomatic communications suggest they are planning a final pacification of human space. They're not negotiating, Admiral Chang said grimly. They're preparing to end us. Dr. Yujin Bei stood to address the assembly. Her research had become crucial to humanity's survival. I've completed my analysis of alien psychology and capabilities. With your permission, I'd like to share what we're really facing. The main screen lit up with comparative data. Every major galactic species evolved from prey animals. The Vorthak developed intelligence to hide from predators. The Nelthani evolved in environments with no threats. The Karathi were the apex species on their world, but only because they were the only intelligent life there. She paused, letting the implications sink in. They have no concept of total war because they've never faced extinction. They treat conflict like a game because for them, it always has been. When they lose, they retreat and try again later. The idea of fighting to the death is alien to them. What about their technology? Asked Science Minister Jinwoo Park. Advanced but specialized. They've had thousands of years to perfect energy shields, faster than light travel and environmental controls. But their weapons are designed for show, not destruction. Their tactics are formal and predictable. They've never had to innovate under pressure. The vote was unanimous. Humanity would stand alone. The declaration went out across the galaxy 3 days later. Admiral Sungwoo Nam, newly appointed as Supreme Commander of Human Defense Forces, broadcasted it from every human ship and station simultaneously. To all galactic civilizations, humanity hereby withdraws from all treaties, agreements, and obligations imposed upon us by alien authority. We claim full sovereignty over our territory and reject any external governance. Human space will be defended by human forces using human methods. The response was swift and predictable. The Galactic Council condemned the declaration as illegal rebellion by an immature species. Economic sanctions were imposed. Diplomatic relations were severed. Then came the threats. But humanity was no longer the weak species that had signed those first agreements. In hidden shipyards throughout human space, a new kind of military force was taking shape. Engineer Hyorin Kim stood in the massive construction bay on Ceres Station, watching the final assembly of humanity's first true warship. The Incheon Fury was unlike anything in the Galactic Fleet databases. It's beautiful, breathed her assistant, Young-Soo Lee. The ship was blocky, Ugly by alien standards, but every line served a purpose. Thick armor plating covered redundant systems. Multiple weapon mounts allowed for devastating firepower. Most importantly, it was built for damage, designed to keep fighting even when half destroyed. "How many more?" asked Admiral Chang, who had come to inspect the new vessel. 50 more under construction here," Hyorin replied. "Every human world is building them. We'll have a fleet of 500 within 6 months." But it wasn't just ships. Human industry was adapting in ways the aliens could never imagine. While galactic civilizations crafted weapons like art pieces, humans mass-produced them like tools. Factories that had made civilian goods were retooled overnight to produce military equipment. The aliens, still following their ancient patterns, announced a formal timeline for human submission. They would arrive in 6 months with an overwhelming force. Humanity would have time to reconsider their foolish rebellion. It was a mistake that showed how little they understood their opponents. General Wu Jin. Li used those 6 months to revolutionize human military doctrine. He studied every battle in Earth's history, every successful resistance movement, every example of a weaker force defeating a stronger one. "We're not trying to match their fleet ship for ship," he explained to his officers. "We're going to fight dirty." The plan he developed would have horrified galactic military commanders. Hit-and-run attacks, feints, traps, and the systematic destruction of anything that could be useful to the enemy. When the aliens arrived, they would find nothing but empty space and deadly surprises. Dr. Haewon Park, working with a team of xenobiologists, was developing something even more devastating. Custom weapons designed specifically for each alien species. Sonic disruptors that would shatter Vorthak crystal bodies. Atmospheric processors that would poison Nelthani gas forms. Neural scramblers that would overload Korathi nervous systems. "This feels wrong," confessed her assistant, researcher Boram Shin. "We're designing weapons to kill specific species." Dr. Park looked up from her work, her face grim. "They started this when they decided we were too weak to matter. Now they're going to learn the difference between weak and restrained." As the deadline approached, more alien species joined the coalition against humanity. The Zelthani Federation promised to restore order to the Galaxy. The Crystal Consortium declared humans a threat to civilized society. Even neutral species supported the coming pacification. But in the quiet, research stations and hidden military bases throughout human space, another kind of preparation was taking place. Humanity's greatest advantage was not their technology or their tactics. It was their nature. While alien commanders planned their approach like a formal dance, human strategists prepared for total war. While aliens expected surrender after the first defeats, humans planned to fight until the last ship was destroyed. Most importantly, while aliens saw the coming conflict as a police action to restore order, humans saw it as a fight for survival. They were about to discover that when humanity fights for survival, the galaxy itself is not big enough to contain the consequences. The 6-month grace period was almost over. The largest military force in galactic history was approaching human space, confident in their overwhelming superiority. They had no idea what was waiting for them. The combined galactic fleet was the largest military force assembled in over 1,000 years. 300 ships from 6 different species. Led by Supreme War Commander Velthok of the Vorthak Empire, they approached human space with absolute confidence. "Commence final approach to the human colony worlds," Velthok ordered from his Crystal Command throne. "All species will witness what happens to those who defy galactic order." The fleet dropped out of hyperspace at the edge of human territory, expecting to find desperate defenders clustered around their homeworld. Instead, they found empty space. "Sir, long-range sensors detect no human vessels," reported Scanner Prime Yektel. "The colony worlds appear abandoned." Velthok's crystalline body flickered with confusion. "Impossible." Intelligence reports indicated millions of humans in this system. What they didn't know was that Admiral Kyung-Soo Cho and the human fleet were watching them from hidden positions among the asteroids. The humans had spent 6 months preparing for this moment, and their strategy was nothing like what the aliens expected. "All ships, maintain communication silence," Admiral Cho whispered into his command headset. "Let them come to us." The alien fleet moved deeper into human space, growing more confused with each empty system they encountered. Where were the desperate defenses? Where were the panicked civilians begging for mercy? On the flagship of the Nelthani contingent, Collective Commander Gaskell swirled with uncertainty. This behavior is unprecedented. Soft species always cluster around their home bases when threatened. Perhaps they have already surrendered, suggested his tactical advisor. Some species abandon their colonies when faced with superior force. They were wrong. The humans hadn't surrendered or fled. They had simply learned from history. Dr. Haywan Park was monitoring the alien approach from a hidden communication station on Titan. Her research into alien psychology had predicted exactly this scenario. They're following standard galactic doctrine, she reported to Admiral Cho. Overwhelming force, direct approach, expecting formal surrender. Perfect, the Admiral replied. Continue the broadcast as planned. Dr. Park activated the galaxy-wide communication array. For the first time, humanity would tell their own story to the stars. Citizens of the galaxy, her voice echoed across 1,000 worlds. You have been told that humans are a weak species, barely worthy of notice. Today you will learn the truth about what humanity really is. The transmission began with images of Earth, but not the peaceful planet the aliens remembered. These were scenes from human history, ancient battles, devastating wars, the rise and fall of empires built on conflict. Humanity evolved on a world where everything was trying to kill us. Ice ages that lasted for thousands of years, predators that hunted us across continents, diseases that destroyed entire civilizations, and through it all we survived. In the alien fleet, commanders watched in growing unease as the images continued, humans hunting massive beasts with primitive weapons, armies clashing with bronze and steel, cities burning and being rebuilt stronger than before. You call us weak because our bodies are soft, Dr. Park continued. But you never asked what made us strong. We are persistence hunters. We don't kill our prey with claws or venom. We chase it until it collapses from exhaustion. We never give up. We never stop coming. Supreme War Commander Velthok tried to shut off the transmission, but it was being broadcast on every frequency, from every human ship and station in the galaxy. You think we fear death because our lives are short, but death has been our companion for 60,000 years. We learned to accept it, to use it to make it serve our purposes. Every human soldier knows that some battles can only be won by those willing to die for victory. The images shifted to show human technological development. Not the peaceful advancement the aliens knew, but weapons of incredible destructive power, nuclear fire that could destroy cities, chemical agents that could poison entire continents, diseases engineered to target specific genetic groups. You gave us technology and told us it was advanced, but we've been building weapons of mass destruction since we discovered fire. The tools you gave us are toys compared to what we've built ourselves. That was when the first human attack began. Admiral Cho's fleet emerged from the asteroid field like hunters rising from tall grass. The human ships moved in ways that violated every principle of galactic warfare. They didn't form neat lines or follow predictable patterns. They swarmed like angry insects, each ship following its own chaotic path. All ships engage at will, Admiral Cho ordered. Show them what happens when prey animals evolve. The human ships opened fire with weapons the aliens had never seen. Kinetic projectiles that punched through shields like paper. Nuclear missiles that turned energy barriers into radioactive clouds. And strangest of all, ships that deliberately rammed into alien vessels, their crews sacrificing themselves to destroy larger targets. This is madness, screamed War Commander Sekroth as he watched a human cruiser ram straight into a Vorthak battleship. Both vessels exploded in a brilliant flash, but the aliens were horrified while the humans simply continued their attack. Captain Subin O was commanding one of the ramming ships. As her vessel Daegu Honor accelerated toward a Nelthani command ship, she spoke calmly to her crew over the intercom. Today we show the galaxy what humans are willing to do for freedom. Remember, we are not victims. We are not weak. We are the species that conquered our own world before we reached for the stars. The Daegu Honor struck the alien vessel at nearly light speed. The explosion could be seen from 3 systems away. But the real shock came when the aliens tried to respond with their own weapons. Energy beams that should have destroyed human ships barely scratched their thick armor. Sophisticated targeting systems couldn't track the chaotic human attack patterns. Defensive formations designed for civilized warfare crumbled under assault by enemies who fought without rules. Sir, we're losing ships faster than our tactical computers can calculate, reported Scanner Prime Yektal, his voice cracking with panic. Supreme War Commander Velthok stared at the tactical display in disbelief. In 30 minutes of combat, the Galactic fleet had lost 60 ships. The humans had lost 40, but they seemed to consider this acceptable. How can they accept such casualties? He asked his advisor. Sir, I don't think they see them as casualties. I think they see them as investments. The broadcast from Dr. Park continued as the battle raged. You want to know what makes humans dangerous? We learned warfare from nature herself. We learned persistence from chasing prey across continents. We learned sacrifice from protecting our young against impossible odds. We learned creativity from surviving in a world that changed faster than evolution could adapt us to it. More human fleets were arriving now, emerging from hidden bases throughout the system. The aliens realized with growing horror that humanity had never concentrated their forces. They had spread them out, hidden them, prepared for a campaign that could last years or decades. Every human colony is a fortress, Dr. Park explained. Every human ship is a weapon. Every human citizen is a potential soldier. We don't have armies. We are an army. Admiral Cho opened a communication channel to the alien fleet. Galactic Forces. This is Admiral Kyung-Soo Cho of the Human Defense Fleet. You came here expecting to find weak creatures begging for mercy. Instead, you found us. His image appeared on screens throughout the alien fleet, a calm, weathered face with eyes that had seen too much combat to be impressed by overwhelming odds. We are not the species you thought we were. We are not victims. We are not prey. We are the descendants of persistence hunters who once chased mammoths across frozen plains. We are the children of warriors who built empires from the ashes of their enemies. We are the heirs of survivors who turned a hostile world into a garden. The alien fleet was beginning to break apart. Ships were retreating without orders. Captains making individual decisions to preserve their crews rather than continue a battle they didn't understand. You made one crucial mistake, Admiral Cho continued. You never asked what made us human. You saw our soft flesh and assumed we were weak. You saw our short lives and assumed we feared death. You saw our primitive technology and assumed we were stupid. Supreme War Commander Velthok tried to rally his forces, but panic was spreading through the fleet faster than his orders. All ships maintained formation. We outnumber them 3-1, but numbers meant nothing when the enemy was willing to die to achieve victory. The humans fought like they were already dead, like death was just another tool to be used in pursuit of their goals. Sir, recommend immediate withdrawal, his tactical advisor suggested. We need time to study these new tactics, develop countermeasures. Velthok's pride warred with his survival instincts. Finally, Survival 1. All ships withdraw to hyperspace. We will regroup and... His words were cut off as the Incheon Fury, Admiral Cho's flagship, appeared directly in front of his command vessel. The human ship was damaged, bleeding atmosphere from a dozen hull breaches, but its weapons were still functional. You want to know what humans can do? Admiral Cho asked. This is what we can do. We can take everything you throw at us and keep fighting. We can lose everything and still find a way to win.